Welcome to this week's edition of GV Bounce. I'm Marc McGowan.
I'm Hannah Driscoll.
And we're going to take you through round 8 of the Goulburn Valley Football League, starting with the battle for the wooden spoon, Benalla versus Uriah.
Yeah, of course, both teams coming up pretty hefty losses last week, especially Benalla at the hands of Marutna. But a couple of key inclusions for the Saints this week.
Yeah, Shane McKean, Jimmy Martinello, really key additions for Benalla, so it's going to help, but we all know the recent form, 4 straight losses and 3 of those by 100 or more, so a lot of work to get a win again, but Uriah's not travelling that nicely either. So.
No, not at all, but I think the majority of us here at the News have tipped the Saints, but I wouldn't be surprised if Uriah got up. They were pretty impressive against Echuca a couple of weeks ago. Yeah,
and Shepparton News, the next game we'll have a look at. Angus Grigg back for the Bears, well not back, but this will be his first game actually, so could be a really good addition. He's tall. He's the forward target they've lacked. He's played at the VFL level, so really good
absolutely.
Addition.
But coming in against Echuca, of course, only lost 1 game for the season, so you'd think you'd have to be kicking bags of 10 or something if they were going to try and get over the Bulldogs. But of course, the Bulldogs without coach Steve Daniel this week, so I have to see how they go without the man in charge.
Yeah, he's right-hand man. Over the years, Mark Simpson stepping in for him for the week. I think the pressure's on. Steve's had a bit of a joke that if the Bulldogs do lose this week, it's going to be Mark's fault. So we'll see what happens there.
So the next game is Mansfield and United.
Yeah, a very interesting one. United going for 5 in a row. Mansfield, I guess, playing there at home again against a really highly respected rival, like they did the other week against Marutna. They obviously lost that day, so really good chance to show they are a contender. But it is going to be tough because United regains Pierce Liddell and Sean Hoy. So
but of course, United, this could be a chance for them to prove that they're right up there. The teams they've beaten so far have been sort of the ones toward the bottom end of the ladder. So if they can beat Mansfield over there, that would be a pretty good indication of where they're heading. Yeah,
it'll send a few sort of shudders through the competition because everyone knows they've won the last 2 premierships, so they take a scalp on the road in Mansfield and everyone will know they're the real deal again.
And probably the key match for the round this week, Marutna and Rochester, 2 of the top 4 sides. So what do you reckon you did this match?
Yeah, really looking forward to this one. Obviously previewed this game and spoke to both coaches yesterday. I guess the disappointing thing is both sides are going to be missing key players. Ash Hockey suspended last night for 2 weeks at the tribunal.
Yep, Guy Campbell out with a knee injury.
Yeah, exactly. And there's still others as well on both sides, like the likes of Wayne Patak for Marutna and Heath Aitken and Chris Sanders, these sort of guys for Rochi. So it's probably not going to be an exact indicator of what's going to happen if they meet again later in the season, possibly in finals, but still a really important game for both clubs, as both coaches have spoken about in the paper today. So if they can win, it really sets up the season for both teams.
And moving on, Swans and Kyabram, another 2 sides that were beaten pretty convincingly last week. I did this match. Both coaches have called it a must-win match. The Swans get back a couple of key players, including their 2 bushrangers, Kate Antonowitz and Benny Tortali, your man.
He's my man. Let's make that very clear, Paddy O'Meara.
That's right, we'll clear that one up. But yeah, could be a pretty key match. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I guess Kyabram's been a real disappointment in recent weeks. They've started well in a lot of their games, but just haven't been able to get that scoreboard pressure over 4 quarters after starting the season quite well. So it's a huge game. It's like the Benalla Uriah game. Both sides looking probably for a win after a pretty barren stretch of games. So and the likes of Jason Morgan and Liam Walton have been in great form, so hopefully they can carry them across the line, at least give a more competitive performance.
Yeah, getting David Newman back as well will be a pretty handy inclusion. And the last match at Echuca and Seymour. Pretty interesting one. Seymour going for 4th in a row, which Coach Bernie Haberman said is probably the first time they will have done it since 2008. So
yeah, I watched Seymour against Shepparton last week and was in the rooms afterwards, and Bernie spoke a little bit about the game but quickly moved on to talking about this game. He's really keen to win this one and put it on his players to put in a big showing and end that bogey run.
Yeah, and the Echuca coach, Cameron Stewart, his focus for his players is to absolutely forget last week's 100-point match against Shepparton United and just focus on this week's match. Yeah,
and the key matchup in that one is Matt O'Keefe for Seymour, the interleague defender. He's been given the job on Reece Archer, the Morrison medalist at Echuca, so that'll be a really good one and probably important for the game as a whole.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's about everything from us here today. Look forward to seeing you next week.